Can you believe this beard is a month old only? This used to take me 2 months. I was thinking about something, scratching my nose. Are you digging for gold? Maybe that's why the Jews got bigger nose, because they know the air of all things. The air we breathe, 2 to 1. The split division in the nose, the split division of the eyes, the split division of the ears. In the Da Vinci Code, Jesus is like this. He knows the angle of the matrix. How does he know? And so does Mary Magdalene know. And so do the people in the whole group know, because of the way they're tilting. It took me 2 years to figure this out. But check their angle. Check how many people are on the edges of the table on both sides. Everything is a code. When you say we took an artist to paint our face, maybe Da Vinci did paint the face of Christ, and he got it out of the system. That's how he knows what he looked like. I mean, because really and truthfully, does anybody have a picture of Christ? Does anybody know his height? Nobody knows his height. Nobody really knows his birthday. It's almost like he just popped out just like that. And he was a big kid saying, Daddy, my daddy's the God, my daddy's the God. He said you shouldn't do that. He said you shouldn't do that. Well, there's a million of us Christs out here right now saying what we shouldn't do. He went accordingly to the Hebrews. But at the same time, he gets baptized by John. And John, was he a Hebrew? Did John start writing before Christ was born? What was John writing before Christ was born? When did John start to write? It's very important we understand when John started to write. Don't forget, when they talk about the disciples, they talk about Judas Iscariot as being one of the strongholds in there. He was on the guerrilla fighters. He knew what was coming in through Christ. Although Christ brought the good word and was the good word, somewhere else along the lines, that is all miscabibbled between the explanations. What, they couldn't talk English back then? They couldn't translate better than they translate and still come about the Bible as about? Because they can't figure out the Hebrew part. That's why the Kabbalah is there. Kabbalah. So they can actually know what the Hebrew is. Because when Netanyahu, or whatever his name is, Sir or whatever, when he translated into English on the screen for us, you know what it said? It said this is not exactly what he said. So we know right away it can't be exact. And they had time to put it on the YouTube for us to see, so they had time to correct whatever they wanted. But yet they were still able to come in and use those words because someone deep in their heart actually knew somebody was going to understand. So they built all these churches, separated us because they knew with time the numbers were going to stretch you into Christ for sure. Because of all his numbers, 77, 34, 43, hot and cold. Jesus Christ, hot and cold. Another one of the reasons is JC is 7 is 3. He was created from the 3-7 world. That's not God. But all his numbers show that he is God. All the words spoken by the disciples say it's God. But he hasn't written a word. Why didn't he go? Look at me. Look what I'm doing. 8 years, just about. And I'm still doing this, and I'm nothing. I'm trying to preach a word of some sort, but the word I preach is only the difference of your vision. That's all. You're the last result. I may come out of my mouth like this. Whoa! Whoa! You understand? And it spreads. It opens up and my words spread. And it comes into you, and you take it in and you put it around into your ears. You see it with your eyes, but you see nothing come out, yet you're looking right at me and see like the words are flying in the air. That's what the Kabbalah is. It's a roadway. It's a passageway that never ends. The road and coil. How the energies work, with the energies going out and the other ones being sucked in. Who says it's pulling and not sucking? when it's thrusting all the time as it coils. Always an energy pushing right up from the back end. Don't forget, when an energy goes, it rolls. It rolls within itself. It doesn't go straight through. It'll tick, 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 tick. Jesus Christ, for me, poor guy, man, 5'2", 135 pounds, trying to cure everybody. In a time, what were the spiritual lights about back then? How were the energies back then? What were we sensing back then? What were we feeling in our minds back then? We don't know. What I do know is every time I want to hit something, if I took away my nose, what would I be doing? You see, Lucille Ball, was it Lucille Ball who used to tug on her ear at the end 2 times? For the end of the, you know what I'm saying? She finishes the show, you can stop transmitting now. Lucille Ball, LB, elbow. Mr. Mooney, Mr. Money. Who were you going to be? Were you going to be the one who reservoirs his money like Mr. Mooney? Or are you going to be like Lucille Ball? 2 different shows, of course. That was, I can't remember the name. So when we go back to Jesus, Jesus, holy Mac, Jesus Christ, oh hell, Jesus Christ, oh hell, Jesus Christ. First of all, the L's can be put together as an H with a line between because you're transmitting the word. One gets it inside the V. You get the whole word that's spread out inside here back to you as one whole package. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm not going to go. I'm not making it vibrate. It vibrates by itself. There's something inside the card. Don't you see? There's something in all the cards. The minute you touch it, they know. The long end of the nose of the Jews, so they wouldn't get lost in a crowd, wouldn't you think? If you're thinking spiritually, what would the long end of a nose be? It's your balance. It's the end of your light. They split the tunnel of lights for both sides so they can both get the light that comes in from here as you breathe it in. Either it goes up this way, goes into your lungs, and no matter what you do, it still goes back up here. The nose the Jews have is because they made our noses a little bit longer so they can try and stretch out the light. The light energy they're trying to learn, but they can't break that code. It's in our heart. It's in everyone's heart. And then once you get in there, you've given it air. Then once you've touched it, you've touched it. Once you dismember the receptors of light, you cannot receive the light. Even if you had the same number, it's a duplicate. It's been touched once. Once it touches and touches again, it's not an original. The light knows. It's very precise, and it's very small. I don't know how the decibels work, or we can find it in Monopoly, but it's basically under 1. Okay? In fact, it's more like a quarter. Take away 4 corners, and you're in the center. So you're one piece of 365 degrees around of whatever the end is. It comes out to 0.25. The center of everything is 0.25. When you talk about man, you talk about the letter O. 2.5 times 6. 2.5 goes into the center. It's in the 5 hole in which the ace 1 dot represents it's there. It becomes 6. 6 times 0.25 is 1.5. 15. That's the egg. That's half of the bowling game because you're not bowling alone. Inside, you're bowling with others. You have to go get the information, bring it back down, tell yourself to advance yourself and bowl. You don't tell yourself, well, take 1 step, 3 inches. No, your whole body knows already. It divides as it comes back down. The nose at the end of the Jew is to split the light. Does anybody want to look at it another way? This is spiritually, the chakra way. You'd have to split the light because in all actuality, there is no center. It comes in on the center and goes either this way or this way. Once it gets into you, your mind splits, becomes a 4. 1 and 3, 2 in between. 2, 2, 2, or 3, 2, 2. 3 by 2 is 6, 3 by 2 is 6, 6 and 3 creation. 1 and 3. Why do I say that? Because that's on your telephone. I just made it a whole lot bigger and put it over my ears as 1 and 3. Jesus Christ. It also says gain. It also says I have. It also says I am. Who made Yeshua's name into Jesus? What was Yeshua? What is his name? Who is this Yeshua? Were they two different people? Yeah, Shua. Shua, all you lambs. Whatever he did in magic, they say witches lived and witches really knew magic, so they got rid of them because they knew the truth of the magic, because they do it themselves and they passed it on to Christ to open up the churches around the world. Why did they do that? Because the 1-3 that I talk about, one side is the Mediterranean, the other side is the Baltic. The Aegean Sea against the Mediterranean Sea. C versus C. MC versus BC. MC is 16, total 7. BC is 2 and 3 creation, equaling to 5. Mediterranean, M is the 4. The C is a 3, a total 7. Baltic, it's 2 and 3 makes a 5. 7 versus 5. And you know what's funny? We've been running for the last 1,000 years, 7 versus 5. Before that, it was 8 versus 4. 9 versus 3. 10 versus 2. Everything to equal 12. Why? Because in 12 days, there's 8 actual days that you're living. 4 days are lost because of the second clock, and I'll get into that into my next video. Jesus Christ built the churches. They moved the Vatican City in. Why did they move the Vatican City in? Because now we have the Mediterranean energies that are compiling to combat, and it's only supposed to be the Middle East, against the other side of the bullhorn, which is what? When the bullhorns go out, they go all the way up north. They're fighting for the energies of the light. The passageway of that light comes in. What's going to happen? Do they want to tilt it this way so the energies go towards Israel so they know more of the stars? Or is the earth going to tilt this way where it's going to be in the Baltic? They're both fighting for that energy in between, because that energy in between, once it comes down, the Bering Sea and spreads open, it hits us all with the light and all the information at the end of our nose of the light. The light comes in by air, by eye, by sea. The minute you breathe, the air goes in of light. The minute you breathe in your nose, the minute you hear with your ears the vibrations, you feel your body, and the light goes in. There's not just one light entering. It enters from all over. I don't understand why the chakras are not showing. Because the Mark Rodin 1, 2, 4, 8 and come around, back again, come back up, shows that the light goes in and it spreads, and it doesn't only come in from one area. It would be impossible. It would be impossible. But the global of who you are is, yes, capped on your head. And it's spread around your body. And it sucks you in. Now, why do I say it this way? Because all the formats they show you, it says it goes in through the head, and it comes in through the body, and it meets only in the heart. It can't only be that way. And one of the reasons for that is the energy that's around us, that's holding us to the ground, that's keeping us together, is that second light. I call it the negative light, because the two meet by the interior and the exterior of the formation of inside of you. If I can say it properly, that means I would know it better. That means I don't know it as well because I didn't say it as well. So they brought down Jesus Christ to match all the numbers of God, because now we're in the year 5775. Forget about 5773. I'm working off 5775. It's the end of the cycle. Why? Because in 5,775 years, okay, you had 2,000 or 200 bicentennial 25s. That make 5,000. Then you get 30, 300. So you had 2,300, and that's the exact number of creation, 2 and 3. Did I get that right? 300 by 25 is 75, and 5,775. Did I get that right? I have to mark that down. 230 times 25. 0, 15, 5 by 0, 0, 15, 10, 11, 0, 6. I keep multiplying. 2 times 0 is 0, 0, 6, 4. 16, 10. That's totally wrong. 230 by 25. 5 by 0. 15 is 1, is 10, is 11. 0. 2 by 0 is 0. 2 by 3 is 6. 2 by 2 is 4. 5,750 years. So it's exactly 231. It's 257.75 the Hebrew year. It's 231 cycles of 25 that went by. 2,231. 231 is just a reverse of 1, 2, 3. We start at 231. Instead of going 1, 2, 4, 8, we would switch it around to 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 5, 9, 8, 6. That would be the other side of the coil if we turn it around. So we've turned around everything. 231. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 by 1 is 3. 6 and 3 is 9 to birth. 3, 4, 5, 6 in numbers. 6 and 9 is the reverse. 3 plus 2 is 5. 3 plus 1 is 4. 9 to birth. 3 times 2 is 6. Listen to this. 3 plus 1. This is 231. 3 plus 1 equals 4. 3 times 1 equals 3. 3 times 2 equals 6. And 3 plus 2 equals 5. So we get 3 times 1 is 3. And we get 3 times 2 is 6 is 9. Then we get 3 plus 1 is 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. And that's 9. Using the same numbers of 1, 2, 3, you're getting 99 out of it. Now, those are the numbers. They're all pure numbers. Right now, I'm working on metric time. Okay, metric time is 64 minutes. And somehow, they're giving us more time on the weekend. For some reason, I don't know why. Maybe to go out and shop, they're making the days longer. I don't know how it works. You know, they play with the sun. The days are longer and shorter. They do that because of the metric time. They're screwing you up. That's why we're always off. That's why we can, oh my God, I'm late. It's like time just flew by. This is spiritual, man. This is all spiritual. This is guidelines from the matrix. This is how the light works. Whatever goes on the earth is because how they intercept the light and read the light 100, 200, 300 years. This energy that Nostradamus has put out shows you that we're 400 years in advance, according to the light. But part of that time is the time to study. Why? Because it took at least 200 years to study what Nostradamus was saying and to come back and say, hey, look, 400 years ago when Nostradamus was here, before he passed in 1566, 211 years later, pretty funny, the way it's 1776, and now we're starting to read into Nostradamus. Well, who's the one who told us? I read Nostradamus, okay? And he didn't say anything about Twin Towers or anything that he said. It's an art, my friends. What they did to Nostradamus is they turned his words into art. And yes, it is true the way I see it. But it's still a piece of art of the Matrix. They had to show us the real picture because they couldn't get away from it. It's the original design. It is what it is. It is what Nostradamus saw from his spiritual light. Now they have to implicate it so everybody looks at it and says, hey, that's new. Hey, that's a coincidence. Raphael 7286, and the constellation of the only one in the lowly below all other constellations is the homeland of Pegasus, where we should all be right now. Thanks.